Easily one of the most unique characters the WWE currently has to offer, Enzo Amore really is a certified G and a bona fide stud. Though he may not be the best wrestler in the world, his work on the mic is impeccable, which is why fans love him so much. Enzo and his partner Big Cass made quite an impact in WWE and seem to be destined for greatness. So today, Wrestling Up presents Wrestling Origins, Enzo Amore. Eric Arndt was born on December 8, 1986 in Hackensack, New Jersey. He would grow up in nearby Waldwick, New Jersey, where he attended Memorial Elementary School and Waldwick High. As a kid, he absolutely loved wrestling, and as you may know, his favorite superstar was and still is Shawn Michaels. Eric says that he always wanted to be a pro wrestler, and that although he pursued other ventures along the way, wrestling was always his dream. In high school, Eric would play football. This would lead to Eric attending Salisbury University and playing as a linebacker for the Seagulls from 2007 to 2009. Eric wasn't the biggest guy on the field, standing 5'11" and 200 pounds, but he was definitely among the quickest. Unfortunately, Eric would suffer a neck injury that would effectively end his football career. Before Salisbury, Eric was kicked out of Springfield College for, in his own words, being too awesome. He hasn't really gone into the details, but he says he was having the time of his life and was out there raising hell. It's also worth noting, Eric would eventually obtain his degree in journalism, but swears he hasn't read a single book in his entire life. I don't know if I believe that, but he's sticking to that claim. I'm sure this degree does help him today though, as Eric reportedly writes a ton of material for his own promos. His motto on the subject is, "You keep reading and I'll keep writing." After graduating, Eric would start working, but not jobs that were expected of a journalism major. See, his father and uncle were both involved in the music/entertainment business, so Eric began working as a DJ. He must have been pretty good, as he eventually landed a gig as the official DJ for the New York Jets football team. He credits his experiences working on the mic as a DJ for his ability to cut insane promos in WWE. Besides that, Eric also worked at a local Hooters restaurant as a manager, and even briefly worked as a mover, where he famously, and accidentally, destroyed Alicia Keys' piano. Since the age of 16, Eric had been training at DeFranco's Training Systems gym in New Jersey. Purely by chance, WWE's Triple H began training with DeFranco a few years ago, just before NXT was founded. As a lifelong wrestling fan, Eric was absolutely ecstatic. He had absolutely no wrestling experience, but that didn't stop him from wanting to jump on this opportunity. Eric recorded a couple videos of himself, cutting promos and showing off his athleticism. He would then give these tapes to Joe DeFranco, who gave them to Triple H. Surprisingly, it took Hunter less than a week to offer Eric a tryout with NXT. In August of 2012, WWE signed Arndt under the ring name of Eric Anthony, but would quickly become Enzo Amore a few months later. He would train for only a few months before making his NXT televised debut on May 22, 2013, where he was defeated quickly by Mason Ryan. His character was an exaggerated version of a stereotypical Jersey Shore loudmouth. Side note, Eric actually made an audition tape for the Jersey Shore TV show, but didn't make the cut. Just imagine having him there along with a Situation and Paulie D. Back in NXT, Amore would quickly form an alliance with Colin Cassidy, who's now known as Big Cass. In a funny coincidence, it turned out Amore and Colin had actually met 10 years earlier when they played basketball together in New York, though didn't really know each other until reuniting in 2013. Enzo and Cassidy would feud with Mason Ryan, but they would ultimately lose. After a few other relatively insignificant feuds, Enzo and Cassidy would enter a gauntlet match for a shot at the NXT Tag Team titles. They would defeat CJ Parker and Tyler Breeze, as well as Alexander Rusev and Scott Dawson, before being defeated by The Ascension. In November of 2013, Enzo suffered a broken leg while training. He would be out of action until June of 2014, where he returned to Cassidy's side. The two would chase the tag titles again, this time by competing in a tournament. They would defeat Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger in the first round, but fell to the Vaudevillains in the next. They would soon join up with the debuting Carmella, who was supposedly forced to become a wrestler after Enzo and Cassidy cost her a job as a hairdresser. Of course, Enzo was continuously training during his run in NXT, and he credits Bill DeMott and Dusty Rhodes as being vital to his success in the ring and on the mic. He also thanks John Cena and Dusty specifically for getting him some time on the mic to develop his character and win over fans. Moving to March of 2015, Enzo and Cassidy would defeat the Lucha Dragons to become the #1 contenders for the NXT Tag Team Championships. They would get a shot at NXT TakeOver Unstoppable, though were unsuccessful. In December, they would get another shot at the titles at NXT TakeOver London, as well as at Roadblock, but couldn't come away with the win. Enzo and Cassidy would wrestle their final match in NXT just before WrestleMania 32, which was when the duo was called up to the main roster. On the Raw after WrestleMania, Enzo and Cass would debut, without Carmella, and confronted the Dudley Boys. The next week on SmackDown, they would defeat the Ascension in a tournament to determine the #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Enzo and Cass would defeat the Dudleys the next week on Raw, before facing off against the Vaudevillains in the finals at Payback. Unfortunately, Enzo suffered a legitimate concussion in this match, which ended their run at the titles. Moving to Money in the Bank, Enzo and Cass faced the New Day, the Vaudevillains, and Gallows and Anderson in a fatal 4-way tag team match, though New Day would retain. In July, Enzo and Cass came to the aid of John Cena, who was being mauled by the club, which resulted in the pair teaming with Cena against them at Battleground, where they won. Shortly after, at the WWE Draft, Enzo and Cass were drafted to Raw, where they would feud with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. This feud would culminate in a match at SummerSlam, where Jericho and Owens won. Since then, Enzo and Cass really haven't been up to all that much. Besides delivering some wicked promos, the two don't seem to have a clear direction as of now, so I hope WWE figures out what to do with them soon. And that was Wrestling Origins Enzo Amore. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for another episode of Wrestling Origins every week. Also, if I left out anything that you think was significant, then let me know with a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.